channel and I look at who's in there making comments mostly, right? And what I would almost say to you, brother, is just in terms of a thought, is I think there's a reason why men resonate with your message more than women, because I don't really hear the kind of intelligent, constructive advice that I think you're capable of when I see your commentary. I see a lot of stuff that could come off as woman bashing, right? Like that, just the little video I
nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the street.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother night.
You can't.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up.
I'm a mom of 7, and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you think that a woman of multiple children is still capable of finding someone?
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, so this is a look. Hold on. We're talking about 7 children, okay? This is no offense to you, because it's absolutely possible for you to find a quality man.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about an interesting guy on the internet named Anton Daniels. I don't know him. He looks a little bit like Rick Ross's cross-eyed brother or something. I have no idea. But anyway, he loves to join in the chorus of these really disgruntled black men that give this crazy, horrible advice on the internet. And what I want to do is kind of put it into context. I'm a little bit older than him, so maybe a little bit wiser, maybe not. But I'm going to give you another perspective that I hope you'll consider. And so get comfortable, buck up, seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now. A platform be built by being one of the few groups of people on the planet. The black man, we're identified with this. The African American male is one of the few people on the planet that is known for bashing the shit out of their women, like literally just going ham in terms of disrespecting black women at every turn. Saying that because you have a single mother, or because you are a single mother, something's wrong with you. And I think Anton's in the chat. You know what, man? I'm gonna say this, bro. You can actually. That's great. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad you're here. You should. We should get online together. I will. I don't know how to get in touch. Put your email address in here or something, or I don't know how we can connect. But I would be happy to debate you about this because I don't understand your platform. I really don't. I don't understand where the win is. I don't see. Here's the thing that I will tell you, and I'm glad he's here because I went on his page and I responded.
Black woman therapist tired of black women's attitudes.
Man, are you dealing with issues like this? Book a session.
And he told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. And I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is, in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship.
This is the first family reunion we have had in 5 years. She's 96 years old. 96. Family reunions uniting the family, bringing together the young and the old, singing and dancing and thanking God, giving Him the glory, thanking Him for getting us over. As we marched up the road this afternoon, what we saw were young men gambling, fighting, cussing, women with no clothes on, gyrating all on this land. Do you see the shack? The man and woman who were born here gave birth to this generation. They were slaves. They worked this ground, but they bought it from the widow of the slave owner. And that's the kind of blood we have running through our veins. That's the stock that we are made of. What happened to us? What happened to us? I mean, what? Do you know who you are? What happened to the pride and the dignity and the love and respect that we had for one another? Where did it go? And how do we get it back? I'm gonna tell you. Young black men, take your place. We need you. Your sons and daughters need you. Did you understand what I just said? You were sold off and had no choice. Yes, but now it's time to stay. Take your place. Now. Starting now. Starting now. Young black women, you are more than your thighs and your hips. You are beautiful, strong, powerful. I want more from you. Take your place. I want every single one of you. Young man, young woman.
I've never said this before. I've never advocated for this before. I'm gonna let Quentin and How To Man have it after this.
This is crazy.
I have never ever said this that I'm about to say right now, and I didn't think that I would ever come to this point. It's time to get y'all passports.
Nairobi, New Year's Eve, 2023, going into 2024. Yeah, we're doing the damn thing, baby. You see what I'm saying? We're doing the damn thing. You ready?
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
My perfect man would be a tall, black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds and just do me.
I'm just... Fall comes to us and it's on time. Finders keepers, losers we.
Fire for your mind. Emotion clinician.
If If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. Heaven and hell, that's what they told you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up and young dolphins. This is our culture, now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, absent fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual, this is how they get you, separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to, damn, lovers, haters acting like vultures, if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us, if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher, if it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is kosher condition. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen.
All right, guys, thank you to the 13 that are tuning in on tonight, guys. We're gonna have a good show on tonight. And the topic of this show, guys, or the essence of this show, will be predicated on Dr. Boyce Watkins lies to women egos and say you need credentials. He basically said you need credentials in order to talk about some of the talking points that we're experiencing here in America. And see, here's the problem with that nonsense, guys. You don't need credentials to talk about behavior that was common sense years ago. You don't need credentials to talk about behavior that was common sense years ago. We live in very weird time, very precarious time to test the souls of men, guys. And the problem with Boyce Watkins and many, it goes back to a concept that I told you guys called devaluation. And so I call it common sense versus delusion. I call it common sense versus delusion. Because the things that people say you need credentials for, it's just common sense. On tonight, guys, you're going to see more delusion with some of these, sadly, young women and how delusion, guys, is impacting them in a negative way. Get your pens and paper ready, guys. We're going to have a good show on tonight. Is common sense fleeting with so many? And why is it that your grandmother that had a 5th grade education had more sense than some of these modern women and some of these fantastic men today? Shout out to my man Top Gun, man. Top Gun said it looked like your boy Boyce was in the Super Bowl. And as obviously he is in the Super Bowl.
I look at who's in there making comments, right? And what I would almost say to you, brother, is just in terms of a thought, is I think there's a reason why men resonate with your message more than women, because I don't really hear the kind of intelligent, constructive advice that I think you're capable of when I see your commentary. I see a lot of stuff that could come off as woman bashing, right? Like that, just the little video I did.
We're going to get into it, guys, on tonight. It's going to be a great show, man. Thank you guys for the 18 or the 16 that are watching on tonight. Has common sense beset many? I think it have, guys. 52 minutes after the hour, 7 o'clock. Bringing to you live from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State, guys. We got 3 in the Final 4 in the Sweet 16, the State, NC State, Duke Blue Devils, and my Carolina Tar Heels, guys. Let's have a great show tonight. Let's do it. Bringing to you live once again from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State, where the topography is serene, pristine, and verdant green, where every day is Father's Day, and where manhood is part of hills and valleys, victories and failures, and whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but tonight we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate once the crisis is over. Now listen, I'm about to drop some fire for your mind. But before I drop that fire, let's explore why we are doing the Manhood Chronicles. All right, thank you to the $19 watching on the night, guys. And guys, y'all know what time it is. It's the Matrix mindset that's besetting so many men and women. You got men that were raised by the mothers that have a Matrix mindset. And you have a lot of women, sadly, they have a Matrix mindset because sadly, they don't understand the psychology of men. Somebody might ask the question, why is this man always talking about female behavior? Well, number one is evergreen content. That's for one. But the delusion, guys, and the lack of self-awareness is problematic. There was a time, guys, that I remember back in Gen X in the 90s, the women that had baggage were humble. They were very humble. And men had higher standards. Gen X men still were simping, especially with the music, but they just didn't tolerate certain things. But now, guys, we live in a world where people lack self-awareness. They not only do they lack self-awareness, they lack dignity and standards. And sadly, guys, because so many of our boys have not been raised by masculine men, they tend to fall by the wayside and they tend to fall into mediocrity, sadly. And that's why these conversations are necessary, guys, because the lack of awareness is problematic. Can you imagine a time, guys, in the world where a woman can say, I got 7 children or 7 children. I got 7 children, and I expect a man to come and take care of all my children.
Needs to pay for all my children, and mine and Gary, all our suffering, all our pain. Somebody needs to be held accountable, and they need to pay.
Can you imagine someone, guys, expecting someone to take care of all of their children? And listen, I'm not knocking this woman for wanting love. She got a right to aspire for love. But ma'am, you got 7 nuggets, and you had all your nuggets by one man, but aspiring for a man should be the last thing on your mind. Your focus should be taking care of your children. And that's why when Gen X men look at some of the behaviors of modern women, we shake our heads because men simped from Gen X, but the women were still a better quality of women. If they were getting it in, it was on the down low. And men had higher standards, guys, from what I remember. I remember men having better standards. But now you don't see the standards that you saw from yesterday. And guys, it's become problematic to say the least. Shout out to my man Salty Balls for the Now. We had a great show last Sunday called Men Aside. Bobby Wright, very powerful show. Shout out to my man Salty Balls, always showing love, nothing but love for that brother. A very stand-up brother, very intelligent brother. And the thing I love about Saul, we don't always agree on all things, but I love the brother. He's a good man. And that's what it's all about. I don't expect men to agree with me on all issues. That's what makes us men. That's why I say, whereas men, we're not going to agree on all things or ideologies. But we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate when the crisis is over. There's a crisis, guys, in heteronormative masculinity that does not appear to be residing. And that's why these conversations are so important. Because the lack of self-awareness, guys, is baffling. So shout out to that brother. Shout out to Salty Balls. Shout out to my brother. And Salty Balls, that's a deal, right? I appreciate it.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
We're going to have a good show tonight, guys.
Right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
Yeah, so I got to show up that Tar Heel shirt, man. Tar Heel Nation stand up, man. A lot of young folks say stop playing. You know, it's Tar Heel Nation stand up. You know, actually, the Tar Heel stage representing strong, man. You know, we got my Tar Heels about to play Alabama. Duke got to play Houston. And NC State, that's where my daughter go at. They're about to play Marquette. So, Tar Heel Nation stand up, man. But anyway, guys, the delusion is problematic, guys. And it's a problem, guys, because this is how they think of you. They think after 7 children, then you should come back and put on a cape and show them love and respect. And it's a problem because they will never do it for you. Shout out to my man, Gregory Scotland, for the $20 spot. He said that, so sad, Kosher, so sad. Boyce, Umar, Breakfast Club, Roland Martin, sometime are the worse than the delusional women. I totally agree in the black community. These hyenas or hyenas are a new term from one of Crimson subscribers. Are the cover guys. No, I totally agree 100%, Gregory. And Gregory Scotland, you are the #1 sponsor of the stream. And then Gregory also said that Coach, at least when the majority of the men disagree in these spaces, they don't go directly to name calling and complete disrespect, no doubt. And Gregory Scotland, much love and respect, brother. And you are the #1 sponsor of the stream on tonight.
That's a bet,
I appreciate
right?
it, sir.
That's
Thank
a
you.
deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Got 5 on it.
All right, shout out to my man, Forever Blessed. And guys, you got a comment. I'm going to read this one for free because it makes sense. But if you got comments, send a super chat or Cash App and I'll read it for you. But I'm going to read this one for free. Forever Blessed said there's still a market for promoting female delusion. Those guys, Umar and Boyce, are tapped in. And I agree 100%, guys. And guys, it's predicated on carnal hypergamy. And if you allow yourself to become a slave of carnal hypergamy, you'll be looking like this. And guys, the Matrix mindset was before Kevin Samuels, and it was posthumous or postmortem Kevin Samuels. And Kevin often said, guys, you can't make this stuff up. And the reason why, guys, it's like that, guys, because it's tied into a condition called cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue ad hominem attack, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. And conditions such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this.
And guys, this is what's causing the arrested development. This is causing, guys, the arrested development. And let me tell you guys something. Doing male-centered content is not easy because it's not popular. And sadly, now, guys, the truth is bashing it. If you tell the truth and call out bad behavior, people will say you're bashing it. It's nonsense. Because back in the day, it was normal for people to call out bad behavior, men and women. Dusty men didn't get top tier women, and promiscuous women didn't get top tier men. But the world now don't want to hear the truth, guys. Only thing you got to do is tell them what they want to hear. And guys, Kevin said the truth. And you know, we got a simp culture, guys. We got a simp epidemic. And shout out to my man Top Gun. You know, Boyce is the head person at the Super Bowl.
I look at who's in there making comments, right? And what I would almost say to you, brother, is just in terms of a thought, is I think there's a reason why men resonate with your message more than women, because I don't really hear the kind of intelligent, constructive advice that I think you're capable of when I see your commentary. I see a lot of stuff that could come off as woman bashing, right? Like that, just the little video I
and you can't tell them nothing, guys. The therapist can't tell them nothing. The average sister can't tell them nothing. The average brother can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. There's only a remnant of sisters that will listen. And listen, men and women got a dark nature. We both have a dark nature, but the dark nature of a woman looks different than the nature of a man. And if you don't believe me, guys, the therapist said it better than me.
Black woman therapist tired of black women's attitudes.
Men, are you dealing with issues like this? Book a session.
And he told me that women don't apologize and women can't be held accountable. And I began to really think deeply about this idea. And one of the things that came across my mind is, in the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, you know, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship.
Guys, this is entertainment for me, but sadly, guys, there's a lack of self-awareness. There's a lack of self-awareness. And many are not going to get the results they want, the men or the women, because too many men are simping and too many women have high expectations. And they think they're better than their men, and things will never get better, guys. It'll never get better, sadly.
God, you can't make this shit up.
I'm a mom of 7, and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you?
This woman is 33, a mama of 7, guys, and she want Top Gun, Salty Balls, and the Quiet Storm, guys, to come back and take care of all her children. She looking to recruit one of you, brother, a mother of 7. Don't you know, guys? Oh my goodness, man. Once again, guys, you can't make this stuff up, guys. And guys, sadly, this is what they want. This is what they want. See, it's one thing, guys, if a woman knew she had baggage and she was self-aware and she could self-introspect and she said, you know, I don't expect a man to want to marry me with that kind of baggage. But even though this woman didn't say a man got to make a certain amount of money, many think that sexual market value not the same as your social market value. And this is what happened, guys, because you can't make this stuff up.
It's him no more. Ma'am, book a session.
Why do you think a woman who is an average looking, below average physicality, below average weight, can sit around talking about they're going to hold out? Or wait, what are you waiting for? The answer is what many are waiting for is a sucker. They're waiting for somebody to go ahead and say, you know what? Even though you got 200,000 miles on you and had a couple of wrecks, I'm going to go ahead and pay brand new prices for it.
And that's the problem, guys. As I told you guys before in the past, it's a concept called introjection. And it's sad, unfortunately, because introjection says, guys, it teaches men to think like the mothers. They don't think like masculine men. And they take bad deals. And, you know, shout out to this woman. At least she got all her kids by one man. But the fact you got 7 kids at 33 and you don't have a ring on your finger, that says a lot about your self-awareness, ma'am.
Multiple children is still capable of finding someone.
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, so this is a little, hold on.
And the standards, guys, have become so low that they will tell a woman that got 7 nuggets out of wedlock that it's a good thing that she got 7 nuggets and she don't have a ring on her finger and she don't have a husband. But they will say, that's a good thing. That's not a good thing, ma'am. That's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because you didn't marry before you carried, ma'am. And guys, back in the day, if you exhibited that behavior, the whole town would laugh at you because it was shameful. And see, grandmama didn't have a doctorate. Grandmama didn't have a master's. And grandmama didn't have a bachelor's. Grandma just had common sense. And when you hear people like Boyce say you shouldn't listen to some of these YouTubers because they lack credentials, that's deflection and it's devaluation. And it's a way to deflect from the conversation because he doesn't like what they are saying. You don't need a degree or credentials to talk about things that are common sense. Common sense was what was part of our culture years ago. Our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers were better women because they just used common sense. You didn't have a baby mama crisis back or before the 60s because they were God-fearing women. And they respected themselves and they respected their bodies. But now common sense versus delusion is the order of the day. How would a woman that got 7 kids at 33 never demanded a man put a ring on her finger, and now this current next a woman will say, I want a man to marry me. Make it make sense, guys. Hold tight. It doesn't make sense, guys. And these are the kind of women that we're dealing with.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Fighters keepers, losers weep. Fall comes to us in its own time.
That's why I said they were the greatest women ever. Not because the women of the past were perfect. They weren't perfect at all. But they had enough common sense not to bring 7 children in this world without a husband because they were shamed for it. So when you hear men like Boyce Watkins, because he's projecting based on introjection and he has a broken ego based on his pain, what men are actually saying, men said years ago. But now calling out bad behavior, sadly, it's called hate.
We're talking about 7 children, okay? This is no offense to you because it's absolutely possible for you to find a quality man.
Who gonna marry a woman with 7 nuggets, guys? How many of you men want to marry a woman that got 7 nuggets? 7 nuggets, even though she got them by one man.
Manipulate, dominate.
But this woman got 7 nuggets, guys. How about you men gonna marry a woman that got 7 nuggets? Shout out to my dear sister, Lady Navor. Shout out to her. Coach, you got baby mamas now saying single men need to meet. delusional, Gregory. Definitely delusional, Gregory. Gregory Scotland said that definitely projection because Boyce's biological father was crap. His mind jumps to most of men and Anton, and his chats are like his sorry father. I agree with you 100%, Gregory Scotland. I agree with you 100%. And Big Bass, hit that beat for Gregory Scotland, because Gregory Scotland is the #1 sponsor of the stream. And Big Bass, hit that beat, because if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. It ain't kosher, it ain't right.
I am the one that take 2 just to make it. 3 if you hating, 4 your replacement. 5 I'm the best to survive in the matrix. 6 and you out, rest in peace to your baby. I am the one that take 2 just to make it. 3 if you hating, 4 your replacement. 5 I'm the best to survive in the matrix. 6 and you out, rest in peace to your baby. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. 7 if it ain't kosher, ain't 7. Hell is your home, but you looking for heaven. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7, 7, 7, 7. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7, 7, 7, 7. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7, 7, 7, 7. If it ain't kosher, ain't 7.
And ain't nothing kosher about asking a man that don't have children to take care of all your children. Because see, as a Gen X guys, in the past, many men would say this to a woman that had 7 kids without a husband. That's what Gen X men would say.
I don't want no hoe. A hoe can't get no money from me. I don't want no hoe.
And men didn't like guys, promiscuous women that had children by other men in the past. It was a detriment, and it was very psychologically damaging, because men didn't deal with women that had children by other women. It was bad. It was bad mojo. Men had higher standards, guys, sadly, in the past. But see, now being a low value woman is the standard of the day. Being a low-value woman is the standard, guys, of the day. And even when quality women try to call out low-quality woman for bad behavior, they'll shame the quality sisters. And they'll call them all kinds of names, you know, the mammies, the pick-me's. They'll call them all kinds of stuff. They'll call them all kinds of names, guys. Mammy, pick-me. Male identified. And I do this content, guys, because it's funny to me, because they're delusional. And that's why we have these conversations. But low-value women, guys, was not the norm back in the day. It wasn't the norm. As a Gen Xer, women were getting it in back then, but they were quiet about it. They did it on the down low. They didn't do it proud and loud. But they were creep in Gen X, guys. They were creep. They were creeps. And this is what they used to say back in the day. They were creeps. Yeah, Gen Xers used to creep, guys. They were getting it in, but they did it on the download. You know, they didn't. It was because it was shameful behavior. Shout out to Sister Navor. Sister Navor, I think you're a Gen X. You Gen X. And you know how Gen X women were back in the day. We both were Gen X. But nowadays, what's normal is no longer normal. What's common is uncommon. Gregory Scotland, once again, for another 10. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. He said, so crazy, Coach. I remember when Chantel Simone pointed out she was amazed when she saw a panel of baby mama criticizing passport bros. Just think about that. Baby mamas are all people. Yes, baby mamas of all people, Gregory Scotland. They got the lowest value and the biggest boxes and got all that pus in them. I mean, got all that pus. Got a lot of pus in them. And they got a damn nerve to tell men that made good choices about traveling, trying to find wholesome women.
Loser ass.
Your video
comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother night.
You can't
delete your.
And guys, a lot of it is a lot of it, guys, is them semen demons, man. A lot of it, them semen demons. A lot of them semen demons, man. You know, them semen demons, and they bitter, real bitter. They don't want you to talk about nothing. I mean, you know, it's evergreen content. You know, people been doing content on black men for years, but they don't want you to talk about them semen demons. And sadly, guys, because the standards are so low. The standards are so low. The standards are so low, guys, in America, that men just settle and they take anything. But Kevin Samuels talked about low value women. They are complicit in shaming men. Complicit in shaming men. And they're trying to minimize any talking points that a man have. Listen, I believe, as I said before in the past, guys, that men and women both should have standards. I don't mind a woman saying she got standards. Don't bother me at all. She should have standards. But don't try to shame a man for saying he don't want a woman that's been ran through or she got children by other men. Don't take it personal. Everybody got standards. But I forgot, everybody can have standards. But black men in America, everybody can have standards. Everybody can have standards, but black men. We're supposed to take the worst of the worst. We're supposed to have take on community projects, and we're not supposed to say nothing about it. Even if you did good things with your life, made good choices. Right, Gregory Scott. He's a big bird, 2 a.m. in the morning, right? and let me show you guys something, man. My robot. I need my robot to educate you. I need my robot to educate, because low value women, guys, has become the norm, and it's become the standard, and it's unfortunate. Because once again, as Kevin said, you can't make it up, guys. You can't make this stuff up.
Get her.
But let me show you guys something, guys, because as a therapist, many modern women like self-awareness. Some of you men like self-awareness because you accept the things that some of these women say you should accept. And I'm going to show you guys in a minute, if I can find the clip. But you should always have high standards and set the bar high in every endeavor that you do, because that's part of being a masculine man. You should always say, I want a woman of quality, and I want a woman that has good self-awareness.
Is about knowing yourself, your feelings, thoughts, and actions. It's like having a mirror to see who you are inside. When you have self-awareness, you understand why you do things and how they affect you and others. It's like being your own detective, exploring your own mind and heart. Self-awareness helps you make better choices, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and improve your relationships with others. So, take a moment to pause and reflect on yourself. It's the first step toward personal growth and success.
Awareness, guys. And this is something that your grandmother had,
check people,
and women in the past had. But now, many are low value women that don't want to self-reflect, don't want self-awareness, and everything is your fault.
And her first thing is shame. Take a case in point. Let's say some of the things when women come to my channel, here's a shaming tactic. They use shaming tactics. Yo mama black. You hate women. Shaming tactics. Shame.
And sadly, guys, in America, if you critique a woman, white or black, who hurt you, your mama black, you got sisters. White women do it too, but it happens a lot in the black community. That's my focus. But that's what they'll say, guys, and that's a lack of that's a lack of awareness, and a lot of it is projection from displaced aggression, and arrested development too, sadly.
Shame is one of the 4 major arrows of a low-value woman. It's part of a low-value woman's pathology. You cross the board. I don't care what you have on paper. When women operate in these areas, they diminish their value to low. Because if you really have a good argument, you should not have to shame somebody. Shaming is just a way to get control of the conversation. Shame is different than insult. Shame is used to turn a positive into a negative. Shame, again, shaming tactics. Success shaming. Oh, well, you think you better than everybody because now you lost weight or because you got some money. Shaming tactics meant to keep you stuck. People who can't win the argument tend to use shaming tactics. And that's the number 1. That's the S in the sign. Another sign of a low-value woman is she often insults. Often insults. To speak or treat with disrespect or scornful abuse. You gay. You got a little pee-pee. You ugly. You this, you that. Insults. Oh my goodness. Think how often you will hear someone when they're losing an argument or can't.
And guys, they do it because they're juvenile. It's an ad hominem. They attack the messenger instead of the message. They're juvenile, very juvenile in their behavior, and very juvenile in their approach. Because when you start calling people out their name, that means you don't have an argument. And sadly, that's what happens. A woman that got 7 nuggets thinks that she should or qualifies to be with a man. A woman that got 7 nuggets that thinks she qualifies, guys. She qualifies to be with a decent to average man that make good choices. Make it make sense, guys. Not 1 nugget. Not 1 nugget, guys. Not 2 nuggets. Not 3 nuggets, but 7 nuggets. And you have some of these weak men that expect you to come back and take one for the team and just accept subpar behavior, because some of these men are struggling from the brokenness of their fathers. They're struggling from the brokenness of their fathers. And they expect you to put a ring on their mother's finger or these women's fingers, all in the name of community. Want to attack you. You're ugly. Your mama black. Your penis small. You're lame. That's what they say, guys. Because now there is no more common sense. It's only feelings. Remember, Boyce Watkins said content creators like credentials. Boyce Watkins said content creators like credentials, but did his grandmama have credentials? You don't need credentials to have common sense, and that's the status of the day, guys. Sadly.
Her first thing is shame. Take a case in point. Let's say some of the things when women come to my channel. Here's a shaming tactic. They use shaming tactics. Yo mama black. You hate women. Shaming tactics. Shame, shame, shame. Shame is one of the 4 major arrows of a low-value woman. It's part of a low-value woman's pathology. You cross the board. I don't care what you have on paper. When women operate in these areas, they diminish their value to low. Because if you really have a good argument, you should not have to shame somebody. Shaming is just a way to get control of the conversation.
And not only is it a way to get control of the conversation, but also it's a way to devalue you as a man. It's a way to minimize your conversation and minimize your talking point. Shout out to my man Top Gun. He said, wasn't there a YouTuber that was smoking kosher cushion and sold you? Yeah, it was, man. And selling you on the 2 a.m. live recently, yeah. Shaming language, man. I just laugh at it now, man. It's funny to me because people like that are broken. Yeah, Gregory Scott, I want to know what this man's credentials are. And Gregory said, right now, one is supposed to say, no one's supposed to say anything about a woman's weight, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, for example. Yeah, black men are not supposed to have standards, guys. We're not supposed to have standards.
I don't want no hoe. A hoe can't get no money from me. I don't want no hoe.
Different than insult. Shame is used to turn a positive into a negative. Shame, again, shaming tactics. Success shaming. Oh, well, you think you better than everybody because now you lost weight or because you got some money. Shaming tactics meant to keep you stuck. People who can't win the argument tend to use shaming tactics.
And what it is, guys, is classic projection. That's all it is. Classic projection and displaced aggression. Classic projection and displaced aggression.
Are you a woman? She often insults. Often insults.
And the person, guys, that insulted me said, what is this man's credentials? They question my credentials. But you didn't question Kevin's credentials. You didn't question Elijah Muhammad's or Louis Farrakhan credentials. And so when women start asking for your credentials or men, it's just a way to minimize. Even men do it. Broken men like Boyce Watkins, it's just a way to minimize your talking point because they have severe cognitive dissonance.
To speak or treat with disrespect or scornful abuse. You gay. You got a little pee-pee. You ugly. You this, you that. Insults. Oh my goodness! Think how often you will hear someone.
Yeah, James Turner. James Turner said, "Coach, I told you no singer, but yes, I don't want no hoe." That's what my mama. I think you do, James Turner. I think Jay, we're gonna give you a skeet burger, James Turner. We're gonna give James Turner.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about a
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother night.
You can't.
Delete your
And it's a lot of Angry Birds, guys. There's a lot of Angry Birds that can't delete the ski. And they're mad. They're angry. They're Angry Birds, man, because they made bad choices. And we know some of these men lied to them. You know, the Raekwons and the Man-Mans. But 7 nuggets. You got 7 nuggets. And you didn't learn from the first one. So that says a lot, you know, for a woman that gave a man 7 nuggets. And then that man put a ring on her finger.
When they're losing an argument or can't stand on the merits of the argument, they want to come out with an insult. In debate, it's called an ad hominem, against the man. The first person to get off the topic and start making personal insults is
right. Ad hominem attacks, because you haven't addressed the argument. When people ask your credentials, what does my credentials have to do with the talking point? Once again, grandmama didn't have no credentials. Your great-great-grandmama didn't have no credentials. Some of them can barely read or write. But they had common sense. Because black women of the past, they were the greatest women ever. Not because they were perfect, but because they had common sense.
Fall comes to us and it's on time. Fighters keepers, losers we.
Women of the past had common sense. Women of the past were couth. Women of the past didn't have a bunch of nuggets out of wedlock. I'm not saying, we know that there were some that did it, but if you go about 70 years before the sexual revolution, women didn't have a bunch of children out of wedlock. It was shameful. My grandmother did get married, but she had my dad out of wedlock. But it was shameful. My dad is 80 years old. His mom had him out of wedlock. Then my Uncle Frank, she was married to his father. But it was shameful behavior. Now you got baby mamas. This woman got 7 telling the man what she wants. And you can't critique them. You can't say nothing because the truth, guys, it's a new hate. That's why there is no reconciliation, because common sense is gone. Up is down, down is up. Up is down, down is up.
The one that loses. Insult. Low value women, playbook, pathology, shame, shaming tactics, insults. And the insults can be your.
Shout out to Top Girl 42. He said, now that Kevin Sales broke it down, now I now see who hurt you. Oh boy, yeah.
I don't want no struggles that I can't get no love from me.
I don't want no hoe. A hoe can't get no money from me. I don't want no hoe.
height, your weight, your money, the way you look. Insults, they are more ready to give an insult than a compliment. Matter of fact, not only do they insult, they take pride in their insult.
They take pride in it, right?
And if you can't take their insults, they shame you. Oh, look at you. You too weak. Again, shaming tactics. You're supposed to be able to handle their insults. And see, low value women feel like people should be able to handle them. That's not working. No one wants to handle a woman. So
and according to your boy Boss, not Boyce, but Boss, say you can't. Black men are getting horrible relationship advice on the internet, according to Boss. But Boss is giving relationship advice to women. So Boyce, where are your credentials? Now you definitely have credentials in the financial. But where are your credentials to tell another man that he can't critique women that was this common sense years ago? Boyce, shame on you, sir.
Men who don't invest in family, they die alone just like women do. And so with what happened with Kevin, I hate it. It was me being overly logical. He was a logical guy. I think he could understand this. The reality is that we need to stop acting like it's only women that can die alone for making bad relationship choices. Men, we do have a privilege. Black men, we have a huge privilege because statistics show that the percentage of marriage eligible black men to black women is highly disproportionate because of mass incarceration and all that. So men like you or men like me that are at a certain age, that have money or whatever, you got the pick of the litter. Women are everywhere. There was over a supply of women. It was too much, right? But that's why I wanted to get married. I didn't want all that no more. So the thing about it is a lot of women that are gonna die alone, whatever we want to call it, it's not because they were hoes or they all made bad choices. It's because there's an imbalance.
That's a lie. That's a lie. It's not an imbalance. I disagree vehemently with that. And that's the same old talking point that so many say. It's not enough good men. That's a lie, because if you look at Kendra G's show, The Devil is in the Details. I'm gonna do a show on that at some point. It's over expectations. It's over expectation. It's lack of self-awareness. And it's average to sub-average women that think they deserve the best of men. Boyce used the same dumb talking points about over and mass incarceration, being happy or being gay, and not enough men. But that's a lie. And talking about him and Anton, but money, that's irrelevant because women in other countries that are average give with average men. So I disagree with that. That's a lie, and it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Top Gun said Boyce Belichick, and Top Gun. This one goes out to Top Gun, man. Top Gun said Boyce Belichick.
Channel, and I look at who's in there making comments, right? And what I would almost say to you, brother, is just in terms of a thought, is I think there's a reason why men resonate with your message more than women, because I don't really hear the kind of intelligent, constructive advice that I think you're capable of when I see your commentary. I see a lot of stuff that could come off as woman bashing, right? Like that, just the little video I
Yeah, Top Gun. He from the Simple Bowl, man. He got oxygen deprivation from the Simple Bowl.
You got to talk about that, man. You can't just talk.
We can debate that, but I just wanted to make sure that I addressed that I didn't think that was right. I mean, we could debate anything, or not even debate. I don't even want to say debate, because debate is, you taking a position and I'm taking a position. I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, and I'm open to hearing you. And after this conversation, I'm also going to take into consideration everything that you say, because I do think that you're intelligent, and I do think that you make some interesting and good points, right? But we can have a conversation about anything. I just don't agree with the way that you addressed it. I thought that it was, I think that you're better than it.
Okay. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. And the feeling's mutual. And I want us to, I'm glad we're connected.
But Boyce, the feeling's not mutual. You're very passive aggressive, brother. You talk from two sides of your mouth, man. You're not. The feeling's not mutual. Very passive aggressive. because Boyce Boyce is an unconscious simp. He don't even know he's one, and he identified with female talking points. You got a bunch of blue collar men that are looking for decent women. Those men are invisible. You got average height men that are looking for good women. Those men are invisible. So what Boyce is saying is a lie.
I want to say that because I do believe in conflict resolution, and I appreciate the fact that you came in. So I got that clip. I'm gonna play your clip, and then I want you to give your perspective on what you were saying, and then I'll give you my take. So I think I got the right clip here. Here we go.
I don't even want to be in the presence of a woman that's tainted. You don't have a chance because he already had you. Listen, if it's that easy for me to get it, I don't feel that special because he hit it, and he hit it, and Dreadhead hit it, and Umar hit it. Boyce didn't hit it. Boyce didn't hit it. He didn't have a chance. We ain't worried about Boyce.
and that's all is right. Listen, who want a woman that a bunch of men hit it, put their DNA in her, they put the DNA on her backside, her anal cavities, her womb, her hair, her mouth, and her face, and then you're supposed to come back and put a ring on her finger and make her feel special.
And the favorite football player hit it, and the basketball player hit it, and the homie from the hood hit it, and they ran a train on you before that, and then you had a kid by him, and you had a kid by him, and you had a kid by him, and then for some reason you think you're supposed to be sitting in the presence of kings.
And Anton is right. She doesn't deserve to sit in the presence of a king because back in the day, women understood if you made bad choices, you didn't get to be with the top tier men.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
I'm a mom of 7, and I'm 33.
Okay.
With being a mom of 7, do you think that a woman of multiple children is still capable of finding someone?
First, let me ask you before I make the statement. Do the kids have the same father?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, so this is hold on. We're talking about 7 children, okay? This is no offense to you because it's absolutely possible for you to find a quality man.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 nuggets. This woman, well, hold on, guys. This woman, she wants a coach. She wants a coach herself. She wants a coach herself.
I am the one that take 2 just to make it. 3 of you hating, 4 your replacement. 5 from the best to survive in the matrix. 6 of you out, rest in peace of your baby. I am the one that take 2 just to make it. 3 of you hating, 4 your replacement. 5 from the best to survive in the matrix. 6 of you out, rest in peace of your baby. 7, if it ain't close, it ain't 7. Hell is your home.
Since when?
She want to coach herself.
How is it that we started qualifying ourselves for people that we don't even qualify to sit in front of? And then they want you to be a step crash dummy. I just got a quick question, ladies. What qualifies you for a good man? Gentlemen, for those of you that have held yourself to a higher standard, have gone through the fire, has become the best version of yourself, and continue to evolve based off of what your next preference is, your next purpose is, your growth curve, because your purpose is ever evolving depending on where you at in your life. I tell you all the time, vet for the direction that you're going in, so the woman that you wind up being with is not the woman that you've met. Anton, how do you vet for the direction that you're going in? Think about it. Overwhelmingly, guys, the value of a man continues to rise as he gets older.
And he's correct. Your stock rise. You know, if you eat healthy, if you work out, if you get your rest, your stock is going to rise if you do the right thing. So how can a woman with that kind of baggage and damage think she has a right to dictate to a man anything?
Value of a woman diminishes as she gets older. That's why they call it the wall, because she hit a certain point in her life to where if she can't climb, she bound to drizzle out the Snoop.
That's correct. So what part of that is woman bashing?
That a woman's value diminishes as she gets older. I think
Boyce just don't get it. Let me explain something to you guys. Listen. Boss, not Boyce, but Boss. I'm going to change your name from Boyce to Boss. Because Boyce is delusional. And I'm going to prove my point. Even in the cosmetic industry, they push youthfulness. Women that are youthful, women that don't have children, women that got low bodies. Every culture understands that the older a woman get, that her stock drops, but Americans. So her value does drop. Her sexual market value begins to drop precipitously. Because if her value was still high, why does she wear makeup? Why does she wear eyelashes and all the other things, accoutrements, to make herself feel good? So her value drops. Just like a man's value is lower when he's younger, but his value rises as he gets older. It's just common sense. But Boyce is so delusional. Boyce say that it doesn't drop. Her social market value is totally different than her sexual market value. The amount of men she's been with, the amount of kids she's had, her value begins to drop. Because how can a woman that's 45, in her early 40s to mid 40s to late 40s, how can her values be as high as a woman in her 20s that has a tight body, low bodies, no kids, and high fertility? It's just common sense. Yeah, James said Boyce Watkins sounds so weak. Boyce can't delete the ski. Yeah, Boyce might got some skeet in him, because I mean, it's just common sense, man.
I think that there is a better way to lay that out. Now, one thing I will say, I'm gonna start with where I agree with you, because these debates are hard for me, honestly, because I listen to a lot of the stuff you say, and I listen to a lot of stuff Kevin said, and I completely got it. I do. And my wife doesn't get it the way I get it. And I've encouraged her. I've said, you should probably listen to some of these guys, because they are reflecting something that a lot of men feel, and I think that should be heard. I think that the way I would challenge you on that a little bit is to say, is there a way you make your point without it coming out as what you are against? You did talk about what you were for. You talked about men, the best version of yourself and everything else. And the problem with people on the internet is that a guy who's listening to you, there's nothing in that video that makes him say, well, maybe I need to.
And what Boyce don't understand, guys, what Boyce don't understand is that these talking points were normal back in the past. These were normal talking points back in the past. It was normal to say I want standards. It was normal to say I don't want a woman that had a bunch of baggage. It was normal for a woman to say she wanted a man to be a provider and a protector, or a man that had his stuff together. It was normal. But once again, only in America where black men can't have standards. America is the only place where black men can't say they have standards and they don't want to settle for women that made bad choices, or women, even if they didn't make bad choices, got nuggets by other men. And guys, I did a show in the past called Black Love Without Consent. And what I said from that, guys, is that you can't have a community until you consent with black men and ask black men what they want in relationships. Until you ask black men what they want in a relationship. I call it black love without consent. Until you consent with black men and ask them what they want in a relationship, then how can you question anything?
Step my game up. Where am I lacking? Where have I made a mistake? Where have remember, we're men, we're the leaders of the community. If the community's falling apart, a lot of it's falling on us. Where am I not doing what I'm supposed to do, right? And then the other part is, that I think that really just sort of.
How can black men rise above the morass where there are government factions and laws and rules that prohibit them from doing so? How can black men change the trajectory of their women where their women don't want to listen to them, where critique is seen as hate and bashing? It's not making any sense, man. And Boyce, I get so tired of this community logic, man. Gregory Scholar said for a man to not understand the value curves of men and women is problematic. And I agree with you 100%.
Hello, lucky person. You got the number right, because you are talking to kids.
He is
a dynamite.
Pure
dynamite.
That pass down man principles and is triggered. I saw it a lot growing up. Yeah, I agree with that, man. And it goes back to what I call, it's called introjection that turns to projection. He identifies with his mother and women. Right. Boyce Watkins didn't like what Kevin was saying, but she liked what Derek Jackson was saying, right. Because they have arrested development and they want men to placate to their feelings.
Saying things like, look, as a man, my value goes up as I get older. As a woman, your value goes down. I know a lot of guys whose value does not go up, because of the bad choices that they're making. They got the babies, mamas, the diseases, the bad credit, they haven't got their money up, education levels.
But Boyce, you can't be that slow and you can't not lack comprehension. Anton is clearly talking about men that made good choices. If a man does make good choices, that's what he's talking about. If a man make good choices, his stock goes up as he gets older. That's what he's talking about.
Flat dead, not taking care of their kids, not a good leader of the household. So this is, I think that's a false idea. And then also I think that as men, it's not really our right to tell a woman what her value actually is. There are some women who have enough juice where they could sleep with several men and do whatever they're gonna do and still bag a good man because she looks good or because she knows how to treat a man or whatever. I think that these hard fast rules I don't like. That's what I don't like. Like the idea that if you're over 35, you're worthless. That's not. I know women that are 42 that could compete with a 28-year-old. So why don't we talk about as opposed to trying to make these rules?
You don't know no 42-year-old that can compete with a 28-year-old. Come on, stop.
Bro, let me tell you the truth. I'm honest reflection here. When I was 45, that was when I got married. I had just ended a relationship with a woman that was younger than me, much younger. And I made a conscious decision. I told my friend, I said, I really don't want to date younger women anymore because I want to date a grown-up. And at that time, I met women that were all 37, 38 and over because I specifically said, I do not want to date a woman under 35 because I want a woman I can relate to. I'm a cerebral man. I'm not a stupid guy. I don't think with my dick. I think with my brain. And I wanted somebody that actually had something in common with me, somebody who understood how to care about something other than herself, somebody who wasn't thinking like a child. And black women are gorgeous. There are women that can hit 38, 40. Now, you're not 40 yet. You'll know it. Like, I think when you get like...
Once again, boss... It's talking exceptions. He's not talking the rule. He's talking exceptions to the rule, not the rule.
Yeah, I'm 41.
You're 41. Okay. So I thought you were 38. Okay, so you're 41. As you get older, you start to just really see what black women can do. Now, it doesn't apply to all women, but there are some women out here that look really good that I would legitimately, that might be 41 that I would pick over a dumbass 29-year-old.
Do you hear yourself? You're saying a woman that looks really good. See, when I teach guys what to vet for, I'm not focused on the silly shit like women that look really good. I'm teaching guys to vet for whether or not she has great character, whether or not she's a good mother, right? Or whether or not she would be a good mother. I'm teaching guys to be equally yoked with women that understand spirituality, right? Women that will pray for you when you go out. And a lot of times, one of the ways in which we qualify people, even in the job market, you look at their resume, right? And so if every other sector and in everything that we do in life, we qualify people based off of their past decisions, then why in relationships is that the only sector, because we feel a certain type of way, or she looks good, because let's be clear. Listen, anybody can go and get some surgery. Anybody can go and get a BBL. Like, that don't mean nothing. The surface level stuff don't mean anything to people like, supposed to be people like me and you, that have substance, that's trying to build, that understand the importance of creating a legacy, that leaves a blueprint for other people that come behind us as to what it is that you should vet for. I'm not focused on the surface level stuff. I'm focused on things that actually build communities and add value. So it's not about looks. It's not about that for me, Boyce. And when I teach these guys, I'm telling them, vet for the direction that you're going in, not for what your current circumstances are. And that's why it's important, because when you see the narrative that's resonating amongst all of these other women channels, they're saying don't date guys based off of potential. When you 22, 23, 24 years old, you ain't got nothing but potential. You broke. You trying to figure it out. You're trying to grow. You're trying to get yourself together. You in school. You probably just got a job. You're in an internship or whatever. And so if they telling you don't date based off of potential, then all I can do is give guys insight on how it is that they can for women that actually look to go in the direction that they're going in, who are equally yoked, right? So when I say that a woman that is 42 can't compete with a woman that's 28, often at times I'm saying that you have a better idea of what her past decisions were to more effectively evaluate whether or not she's a good woman. I don't go based off of the surface. I don't go based off of optics. I go based off of reality. Based off
okay,
of
so let me ask.
And so similarly, when we reference back into that clip, if she slept with every single other guy and she had a whole bunch of kids by a bunch of other people, but then she still find herself not in a relationship, not married, not moving the way that she's supposed to move. So you telling me that as a man, if I'm single, no children, taking care of business, top of the totem pole,
right?
I know that's the.
He's talking about men that make good choices, but Boyce always divert back to the lesser common denominator. It's just common sense. But I can't understand how a PhD doesn't get this, man. This man got a PhD, and he don't have enough damn common sense to understand that.
Statistically, my earning potential is not even going to hit its apex until its late 50s, early 60s. And I'm supposed to pick her?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm actually saying pick who the hell you want. Just pick who you want. Here's where we agree. You talked about a woman where everybody done hit it. Umar hit it. No, they ran the train on her. I'm not picking that woman either. That's
you
not.
Don't know. No. How do you know?
Here's the thing. I don't need to announce that. I just will pick a.
And he's right. He don't know. He don't know a boss wife. He don't know if a boss wife had a train ran on her. Tonga said that man said too many mama and aunt gossips. Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, he think this like a woman, man.
Quality woman. I picked what I wanted.
What's a quality woman?
To me, a quality woman was a woman that fit my life. Like you said, all those things.
No, what is the characteristic? But listen, you said of a quality woman.
You were talking about the non-10. You were talking about the things that didn't have to do with what she looked like, right? The spirituality, what kind of mother she be. All. Well, then where did that comment come from about a woman's value diminishing with age? It seems to me that if she's older, she'd have more of the spirituality and be just a better person, be more intellectual, be able to connect with. So
let's have a conversation.
Why would you pick a young thought, a 27-year-old who still doesn't even know who she is, as opposed to say a 39-year-old who maybe is more evolved in that way? I'm not telling you what.
How did she discover who she is? Did she discover who she was by sleeping with a bunch of guys, having a bunch of relationships? Because you can't unsee what you saw. You can't think about it. If a woman is 40 and I'm looking to have children, you have a better chance of doing it with a 28-year-old than you do with a 40-year-old.
Now that is true. That is true, right? Because that was my real life dilemma. I was like, do I really want to have more kids or do I not? I married a woman specifically with children, not just because she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. She was one of my best friends, and her kids are great kids, well behaved. but also because they were already at a certain age where I wouldn't have to change no diapers. I didn't want to have a newborn and change diapers at 45, 46 years old. It was like, no.
Yeah, but where's your legacy at, Boyce? Your legacy will never live out through you, sir. That sounds fantastic, Boyce. And that's your choice, but you sound very fantastic. I would never settle for nothing like that. But that's his choice. Because when I tell men to date younger women, I'm not talking about any younger woman. I'm talking about a woman that's been raised right, trained right, and don't have a lot of bodies.
No, I'll take the 7 or 8 year old and mentor that child. And that was fulfilling for me. And so my point is to say, here's the thing. When I made that decision, Anton, I wasn't telling other men, this is what y'all need to do. I was saying, this is what the fuck I want to do. And I think
that's not what you say, Boyce. Because listen, Boyce, unfortunately for you and for me, everything we do is up for debate. Because it's not just what we say. Our life decisions are also communicated to people. And I think that the things that you do is 90% of the conversation. 10% of it is what we say. The 10% is just the cherry on top. That's just us highlighting and then using ourselves as an example in order to illustrate what you should do. So your life decisions, unfortunately, and me, unfortunately, is up for debate. We don't get to control that. We are public figures. And now the things that we do, and then the way that we communicate to people actually is communicating to them how it is that they should be moving and how they should make their life decisions, because they look up to us based off of our results. And so you don't just say, well, I did it, and that's just the conversation, because that ain't even what you do. You also say, hey, these guys should be going out here and getting with these women that may have kids because we need to save the community, and these are the heroes of our community. That's what you also communicating, not only in your actions, but also you say it out of your mouth.
Well, you know what? I share my perspective, right? I don't think that anybody who is a free-thinking man should just be on another man's jockstrap to the point where you're doing everything that he does.
Don't do that.
You don't. Seriously, when we talk about voting, people always, every time I say something critical of the Democrats, people think I'm telling people to be a Republican. And the first thing I say is, I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm telling you because I don't know your life. I don't know what your preferences are. It's like I can't tell you what kind of woman you should want. If you should want a tall, short, fat, thin, whatever. I'm saying that there is somebody out there for everybody, and pick what works for you.
It's not somebody for everybody. You see, that's why I think that you're wrong, because it's not somebody for everybody. We know that to be a fact. Everybody is not going to win. Everybody not going to get married. Everybody can't go on. We know that this is the truth. And so for example, I have conversations with women because I think that they're delusional to all be going for the same type of guy. More importantly, I think that they're delusional to believe that they all deserve a great man, because their definition of great is not realistic for what we actually need in our communities. Most of us are regular, everyday people. That's just the reality.
Okay,
we all regular, everyday people.
Well, let me ask you this though, but is it not delusional for us to decide what we think a woman deserves or what a woman can actually get? Yes. I've seen women who, maybe they got a couple kids and they are a certain age, but because they got the secret sauce and they know how to treat a man or they know how to exercise their options appropriately, they never run out of men that are interested in getting with them. So I don't think that I would have the authority to go.
They don't run out of men.
Think about it though. Think about it.
They don't run out of men that's willing to sleep with them. It's a difference.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Right. We agree on that. We agree on that. But I can't.
Sleeping around is not good, boys.
No. Seriously. Like, imagine somebody telling a young black man that because you got a criminal record and a bad credit score, ain't no woman never going to want to be with you. You don't know. I mean, this man might be 6'5" and handsome as hell. He'll never run out. He'll never have a shortage of women. Right. So the point is to say that
boys don't understand there are consequences for bad choices. How can a PhD not understand this, but your grandmama and your great-grandmama understood that women that made bad choices, their stock was lower? I mean, it was just common sense. It was common knowledge, man. How did we get to a point where common sense, it's like damn writing a dissertation? A man that got standards and a man that's put in the work, the single, don't have kids, Most men don't want women like that, and they have a right to say, I don't want that for my woman. Just like a woman got a right to say what she wants in the relationship. I don't knock a woman for saying what she wants in the relationship. It goes either way. I mean, these are just basic common sense, man.
You can't look at a person and make your determination that they're delusional. It's like if somebody says, I want to get a job and I want to work 10 hours a week, I want to make $500,000 a year. It's not my right to say that's delusional. I would say, well, that's going to be hard for you to do, but there are people like Anton Daniels who does work 10, however many hours a week you work, and you make a lot of money. Right?
Isn't it interesting because you're validating delusion as though people deserve to get what they think that they want. For example, why do we try to discourage every young guy from not thinking that they just gonna make it into the league? You don't have to be a rapper. Hey family, if you over here and you think that you deserve or you're gonna be awesome and to be this big rapper or to be this big basketball player, we know statistically that you have a greater chance of being great when it comes to investing and putting into your 401k and reducing your tax burden and possibly starting a business if you understand it from a business perspective, or becoming going down a specific path from a college perspective and becoming a software engineer or a cybersecurity professional. I'm going to lead you into the thing, and then I'll say, listen, you can follow your dreams after you do what you're supposed to do when it comes to securing your future or to make sure that you're always going to be able to make money, right? And so the delusion is to put all of your eggs in that basket, and I'm going to call that young man out on that, and I'm going to say, listen, bro, if you're putting all of your eggs in to make it into the league, what if you break your leg, right? That's not realistic. And even if you make it into the league on average, the average basketball player only is in the league for 4 years. And in 5 years.
Shout out to my man, I'm James Turner. He said, Morris sounds like a Padusi. All of this would change if he traveled to Africa. Roll the clip. Shout out to James Turner. Gregory Scott said, this is why red pill and mass responsibility are highly important because, I agree, Gregory. I agree 100%. I agree with you 100%, man. It's pathetic, man. And the sad thing is, that was just the norm back in the day.
After they leave the league, they're gonna go bankrupt. That's what the statistics say, right? And so I'm not leading him into this delusional way of thinking. I'm gonna speak to him based off of what's best for him. And so it's the same thing when it comes to women, except for we remove those barriers because it's only based off of what you feel, not based off of the reality. The reality is that they don't deserve a certain type of guy based off of their life circumstances and the way that they live their life. See, the way that we judge people and we evaluate people is based off of what the results are. If you decide that you want to go out here and you sexy red, it behooves me to sit here and tell you that you deserve a Russell Wilson. But the problem is you'll have a Russell Wilson then hit these women with delusion because they've made the decision. Now you got every woman saying that they're going to say the Sierra's prayer. That's not reality for the majority of the black community. So we got to speak to the majority. We can't speak to the anomalies. It's not realistic.
Okay, so I will agree with your point 100% is that remember my background is economics, and I think I see everything as a market. And what you're basically saying is that if you're talking to a kid in the hood that says I want to be the next LeBron, you might say, look, the odds of this happening are very, very low. But you never know. You might be talking to LeBron, right? If LeBron's teachers had said going to the NBA is not going to happen for you, that would have been wrong, right? But most kids are not LeBron. We know this, right? So you might say, well, look, you're only 5'8". You don't even play basketball. This may not work out for you. And I agree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that when you talk about, the sexy reds or whatever, I'm right there with you on that. I talk about the sexy red bullshit all the time. But I also think that at the same time, I think as men, we should probably be a little more nuanced in terms of how we have that conversation. We don't have to be bastards about it. A lot of people, men and women, you look at men that make bad choices. We could just say, well, you're a dumbass because you made bad choices. Now look at your life. Nothing's possible for you. Or you can try to also understand why he might have made those bad choices, why he might have went to jail at an early age because of the situation he was born in. So a lot of the women that they come to men like us for advice, that will take the time to hear what we have to say, to hear a man's perspective. Some of them are so damaged. Some of them, again, I don't agree with Sierra having a baby with Future. I think Future's a piece of shit. I really do. But the problem I have is that you have a lot of guys that live that same lifestyle, have that same mentality, who might listen to your channel and say, yeah, that's right, these hoes need to change their behavior. They need to do this, do that. And I'm like, well, what about you too? I don't know why Sierra had a baby with Russell with Future. Maybe she thought Future was going to be a better man than the man that he turned out to be, or maybe something's wrong with her. I don't even know.
That's where you lose me, Boyce. Come on, he had already had a bunch of children. And he's a rapper, and he was blowing weed smoke out here in these streets, and he talking about Molly's and Percocet. Come on, you don't. What she thought she was going
now you are right about that. You're right. Just like as men, we sleep with women that we ain't got no business sleeping with. My buddy got a stripper pregnant, and he's a professor, and I was like, why would you fuck a stripper? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
He needs to be held accountable for that.
Absolutely. And so what I would say with the accountability thing, I'm all about team accountability. I'm right there with you 100%. I just think accountability starts at home. If I have not fully held myself accountable, then
guys, here's the problem. We didn't have these issues prior to the advent of the sexual revolution. We didn't have these problems. There were more intact families, more intact homes, more healthy families. We didn't have these problems, guys, prior to the sexual revolution. But it has metastasized to something crazy since then, guys. It has metastasized, guys, to something crazy since then. And it's a problem, to say the least. But this is what happens, guys. I'm going to show you guys in a few minutes in a clip where grandma had more common sense than a lot of these women now. It was just an understanding that, you didn't have a bunch of kids by different men. It was just an understanding. But sadly, common sense makes no sense. Common sense makes no sense. Hold tight.
I have to be careful about judging others and judging.
But I have held myself accountable, and so I feel like I'm in a position.
I think that you have, but I don't think everybody in your audience has. I think that.
And what Boyce is not understanding is that every man, people have a right to judge bad behavior. You have to judge yourself first, but you have a right to judge bad behavior. So what Boyce is saying makes no sense.
There are men who literally go through life blaming all their problems on women. The reason I'm miserable is because my baby mama. The reason that the women the reason I ain't got no money is because women did this to me and did that to me. And I think it starts with their mother. I think a lot of them had mommy issues. And
wait, hold on, stop there. How did they get mommy issues?
From their mommy.
Being raised by what? A single mother, right?
In some cases, yes. But then also remember, hurt people. So we are an ecosystem as Black people. In many cases, when you see an abusive man, a lot of times it rooted from behavior from some woman that did not do right by him. But when you see a woman behaving in inappropriate ways, a lot of times you can link that back to a man. And maybe it comes from her father or her ex-husband or whatever, right? And my point is to say that if we're going to really
how it always comes back to the man, though, Boyce?
No. It comes. Well, I think that as men, all I can do is take responsibility for what I do. All I can do is look at like where am I? Right. So as a husband,
we are our brother's keeper, and we hold everybody accountable. Nobody should be absolved from being held accountable, men and women. The difference is that I don't see guys get mad when I hold them accountable, but I do see women say that you automatically women bashing when you call a spade a spade. Listen, if you've been slutting it out and you for the streets, and then I say, hey, you've been slutting it out and you for the streets, all of a sudden that becomes women bashing because you're not being compassionate enough. But if I talk to a guy and I say, hey, you doing pookie behavior and you out here doing stuff and you messing up the community, man, you a sucker. You need to help hold yourself accountable. Right. All of a sudden it's, yeah, good job. You holding them accountable. It got to be equal across the board because everybody has the choice to do what they want to do now. You can't tell a woman what she can and can't do anymore. And so because of that, you don't have complete dominion over what happens in your household. because she can go and do what she want to do. She can go and get her own job. She can sleep with who she wants to. Then if we want to look at ourselves as a community, then the whole...
If she wants full freedom, she can have full responsibility, accountability.
Whole community needs to be held accountable. You cannot absolve one thing from the other and then say that you're automatically mad at one thing simply because you're being equal across the board. That's what equality is.
I think you make a perfect point. I mean, I can't really disagree with what you said, because remember, I had a big controversy over Lizzo. I said that I don't like this idea that this lady's being paid by these record labels to promote obesity in the black community, like obesity is body positivity. There's nothing positive about dying from diabetes and shit, right? So
am I paused? Or is it boy? I think he has frozen to attention until we get Uncle Boyce back. Anton Daniels is not hurt. All right. Anton Daniels do not feel a certain type of way. And I think that y'all need to bring yourself back to the front of the congregation in order to ensure that we have a successful community. If you want best for the community, then you got to get the beam out of your own eye. Oh, Boyce, I was just giving the people a little bit of insight into you guys.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, my Wi-Fi went out for a second, so it's your show for a minute, man. But I'm gonna say this. For the sake of extending the olive branch, I want to apologize for anything I've said that's been hurtful or disrespectful to you, and I want to say also that I've learned from your perspective, and if you are okay with that, I'd like for us to walk away from this conversation as brothers. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm 100% on board. I think that, well, first let me say this. I also apologize for any low blows that I might have thrown. But I think that it is important to have these conversations. I think you are intelligent. I think you're very, very smart. I just think that you're a good guy. I think we all have differences of opinion. But at the same time, I can also hold myself accountable and say that I should probably be a lot more above board than just, you know what I'm saying, and reacting or thinking that I'm always right or whatever. But I'm open to the fact that I could be wrong. And we all evolving. Who I am today is completely different to who I was yesterday, and I'm assuming that that's the same thing with you. So yeah, I also apologize, and I want us to walk away also, with a good perspective or a good understanding of who each other is. And I respect you. I got a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, well, vice versa, brother, vice versa. And so everybody, if you could give a digital thank you to Anton for popping in. Anton Daniels, that's your last name, it's Daniels, right?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Okay, yeah, Anton Daniels. So you can look him up on YouTube. And we got to do this again. We, get together and debate some stuff, man. I really enjoyed this a lot. And thank you all for hanging out with us. And if you could please hit the thumbs up button and all that before you go. And we will see you guys soon. Anton, I'm gonna send you an email after this, man, so we can go further. All right, have a good day, everybody. See you later. All right, peace.
All right, guys. Let me stop this. I'm gonna end the stream soon. I'm gonna show you guys something and show you guys the difference in how women of old thought compared to women now. And then we're gonna end the stream. Thank you for watching. But guys, I did this for a reason. Low value women reject correction. And I'm going to show you guys something real quick before I end this stream. And thank you to the 20 that watched it. Guys, I got to figure this thing out. I appreciate you guys watching on tonight. I've been so busy, man, trying to grow, man, and make this money, man. And so I always appreciate the good brothers that show love. But let me show you guys something real quick. Let me show you guys something real quick. And so, how is it, boys, that boys can't understand where men are coming from? Remember, our grandmothers didn't have degrees. They didn't have bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, but they understood or had basic common sense. I want you guys to listen to this.
We had mothers to raise us. They raised us to be women, raise our own children. Yes, see, y'all go pick them. All y'all want somebody you can put your hand on and whine and all cutting and all that foolishness. A woman has to be a woman. A woman places in a home. A man places to provide. And if he don't provide, then you don't need it. I don't feel anything because I got my man. I've been had him for 54 years. And I always had to be a woman. I've been a woman. Look. I've been working since I was 7. I've been raising children since I was 5. I've been cooking since I was 4.5. And these women today, all they know is McDonald's, fast foods and stuff.
Right. Common sense. Now look at what somebody said. But there are women in these comments that she talking about, they're going to cap that she's speaking facts. Let me see. This person said, it's so sad to see the negative comments this lady is telling facts. Generations have changed. Right. This person says she's telling it like it is. This generation of parents, glad I learned how to cook watching my granny. They blame everyone but themselves. I miss these type of women. See, grandma had common sense. Grandma didn't have no bachelor's or doctorate. Grandma didn't have a bunch of kids out of wedlock. They had sex with one man, but now women got more damn education, got better appliances, and they still blame men for everything. So how's it a woman that probably had a 7th or 8th grade education get it, but women that got PhDs don't get it?
No, they don't know nothing about cooking and feeding no man, or wait till a man hardens through his stomach, get you behind in there and cook, and feed him.
And what about the
and make sure he get up off his butt and go to work.
Is that something that's missing in this community?
No, the women's sorry. Now, they may not like me for saying.
This is what Grandma said, guys. See, Grandma had common sense. And she's right. They are sorry. She said they are sorry. They're pathetic. Most of them ran through, got children by other men, don't listen, don't want to work, want the best of everything, and they don't personify women like that.
Fall comes to us and it's on time. Fighters, keepers, losers, we.
That's why I said those women were the greatest ever. You had more women like them than you had that were ratchet women. There were ratchet women in that generation too. But that wasn't the norm. The normal was women like this. These women were more the norm than the women from that generation that were not the norm. And she's right, they are sorry. They don't want to cook. They don't want to do the basic things that kept families together. But we want to hold men accountable and talk about raising the community, but the women don't want to be under men's umbrella. That's why I laugh at this so-called community stuff. Because it's over with, guys, and it's okay. I'm not trying to save no community. I could care less. Because I understand until men get the respect they deserve, there's no community.
But these young women today, they don't even raise their children. Their children raising them. Look, a woman place is to raise her children, and at the end of the day, tell their husbands which one they had to almost kill. That's how that go. That's why the juvenile center is so full, and they expanding the jails because mothers don't raise their children and put them.
Right, and grandma's right. But see, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that part, guys. How can grandma have a 7th grade education and have common sense, but you got so many women that are delusional, and sadly, Boyce, he might be, that's why I say he's an unconscious simp. He's feeding into their delusion. He's feeding into that delusion. But they don't want to hear that part. Don't want to hear it. This person said, my grandmama told me my grandmom worked from sun up to sundown and then got home and cooked for 7 babies, plus helped my mama with her homework. Those women were built like they were tough women, a lot of them. The men were tougher. They just understood their assignment better. But women got more now, and they complain more. Women back then had less and complained less.
The blame on the man. And the man ain't worth a quarter because he won't work. Because we had mothers to raise us. They raised us.
So how's it that an old woman that didn't have a, like I said, didn't have bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, how's that she got it? She get it. But a lot of modern women now don't get it. But they want you to come back and save the community.
But the question is, when do you settle?
Now listen to this 60-year-old woman. She's 60 years old. Says she won't settle after being single for almost 30 years. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get off the soapbox, man. Look at this delusional woman. No common sense. She probably got higher education, but no common sense.
When do you compromise, or do you at all? As for me, I've been single a pretty long time. Never thought it would be this long. I have to admit, when I got divorced a long time ago, I was a little arrogant. I was in my mid-30s, and I knew I was a good catch. Good woman, educated, great career.
Now look at all the dumb things she said, guys, that she thinks symmetrical to being a good woman. Those things don't make you a good woman, ma'am. Having a career, educated, doesn't make you a good catch. What makes you a good catch is your ability to manage your emotions, to honor and respect your man, and also to control your emotion for the greater good of that relationship and not been ran through.
Amazing mom, and I was a great wife. Cook, clean, do all that. So I kind of was a little arrogant and thought, oh, it's no problem. I'm going to be married in 2 to 3 years. Well, it's been a long, long time. And honestly, not even gotten close. And so sometimes, you know, like a lot of women in my situation that I've talked to, that you ask yourself, well, when do you give up? When do you give up on finding the one? Or do you? As for me, I go... But the question is, don't have much in common, but he calls, so I talk. Sometimes I go, well, on finding the one. Or do you? As for me, I go back and forth. Sometimes I go, well, I just need to be with Mr. Right Now. Doesn't give me butterflies, but he's a good man. He's nice. He likes me. Don't have much in common, but he calls, so I talk to him. Or sometimes you've got the one that gives you butterflies, but you know he's unreliable and not dependable. He's broke. You got to take him out to dinner. We've all done that. Those are never sustaining long-term relationships. So the question is, do you compromise? Well, where I am right now today, I'm going to say no. I'm not going to compromise.
Okay, and that's fine, ma'am. You'll keep waiting. You'll keep having egocentria, ma'am. You'll keep waiting, and you'll keep being delusional. I just don't get it, man.
I'm going to stay optimistic. It gets hard staying optimistic this long, but I'm going to stay optimistic.
And guys, and that's the way love goes. Anyway, guys, thank you to the 17 that tuned in on tonight. Got up to 25 at one point. Let me read these cash apps out again, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to Salty Balls for the $9 super sticker. Shout out to Gregory Scotland for the 20. Gregory Scotland again for the 10. Gregory Scotland again for the 10. Gregory Scotland again for the 10 for a total of $40. Shout out to Top Gun for the 5. Top Gun for the 2. Top Gun again for the 2. Gregory Scotland again for the 5, which is 45. Top Gun again for the 5, as they were the number 1 sponsors. Top Gun again. Shout out to Top Gun and Gregory and James Turner again. Guys, I do these shows for a reason, man, to add critical commentary to core talking points. We live in a world, guys, where delusion is at an all-time high, where masculinity is down, and these conversations don't make sense to a lot of people. And as a therapist, I see it many times in therapy sessions, guys. This is edutainment for me. It's edutainment that take clinical concepts to parallel it to urban trends and urban talking points. And while my war cry is for successful women and successful men to get together, we understand, guys, in these current times that things aren't going to get any better. It's gotten worse and worse since the 90s. I don't see it getting any better. Shout out once again to Top Gun for the 99, no comment. I appreciate it. But guys, we're going to end the stream on tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got some work to do. Trying to grow this channel, maybe and come up with another channel, guys. And guys, I appreciate everything you brothers do. Hold the line, guys, to the Top Guns of the world, the Quiet Storm, to James Turners, the Cortez Smiths, and all the good brothers. Y'all hold the line, man. I pray that you got that God bless y'all with some good women at some point. And you just see things for what it is, man. But we're about to sign off. And guys, I appreciate everything you guys do.
When men fail to lead, the children rebel and the women take over.
Men have asked us to play by their rules, but the rules have just changed. Nanobots, transform. I am Kosher Prime, Sentinel, Captain, Advocate for Men. We have crossed a threshold in a time where men are under attack. But if we join forces, we can defeat those that seek to overthrow us in a negative way. Nanobots, transform.
When my friends go, it was simple. When the end's low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, then I strike. I go hard day and night, yeah. I go hard day and night. 1-to-1, no surprise. See the hate in their eyes. My brother's blood money bleed. I got the game in the squeeze. What would you do for some green? What would you do for some blues? Go pick and choose, the fam of the cheese. Some people not built like that. Some people get killed like that. Pressure like water, lights, mortgage, I've been at bills like that. Now I got kids like that. No wonder why I feel like that. Some people go to war for nothing. Me, I go to war for something.
Before there was the manosphere, I was. Before there was the internet, I was.
When the end's low, switch the tempo. I got right, I got heart, I won't die, I'ma fight. I go down, then I strike. I go hard day and night. Money on the line, keep calling. Money on the books, ain't all that. My kids, they'll be ballin'. Got a real bankroll, not for Instagram. My mama on the line, keep calling. Praying for me, know I need all that. Told me it's not about ballin'. Real blessed, but I'm still sinning, man. What would you do for a win? What would you do for your friends? What if this life is a foe? What if the dogs pretend? What if you roll to the end? What if you started again?
Fire! The Kosher Clinician.